Spaceship.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerd Street Valorant Chicago LAN for Summer Champs. How you guys doing? My name is Marks, casting alongside Jim Basco. We've got Fudgy Waffles and KC on our observing. Grave is going to be stepping up to the replay plate today, and Ferme is on production. But Jim, how you doing this morning?
Fantastic. It's bright and early, and it's another day of a fantastic Chicago LAN, man. We got LAN action after so long, so I'm excited, Marks. And we had a couple of great matches yesterday going all the way, going the distance, really time and time again. And I love that we brought that phrase from yesterday into today, so I'm excited to keep the action going throughout the day. I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good day. We're seeing some of the replays from yesterday. We started things out with Acacia versus Lotion G. And Acacia actually made it into our playoff bracket. And then as the day continued on there, we did move over to watching the E-Girl fan club face up against Last Resistance. And actually, the E-Girl fan club was able to qualify for playoffs as well. That leads us to today pretty much, where we saw a lot of pretty awesome plays. It was going back and forth between these two teams, but I think that we're going to have really great competition now moving into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself, man. It's going to be a great level of competition, and if yesterday was any indicator, these matches went so back and forth, especially this series between the E-Girl fan club and Last Resistance. You know, Last Resistance knocked them into the lower bracket earlier in the day, and then, of course, got knocked down into that bracket themselves by Jet Difference, who went on to qualify. Then they met again in the lower finals, and of course, this time around, the E-Girl fan club came out on top. So what a story that was after such a long and really marathon of a series that they played together.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that we're constantly seeing throughout all of the matches, maybe it's just that LAN buff, but constant multi-kills going back and forth for pretty much every single game. And it was insane the amount of times that players were just lining up to take each other out. We're just watching now the final replays from the E-Girl fan club versus Last Resistance here. And yeah, once again, E-Girl fan club were able to just win it out. So like you said, completely just flip the script on Last Resistance, able to secure themselves a spot into the playoff bracket. And this is pretty much where we're going to be starting out today. So let's quickly just take a quick look at, as soon as these replays are done, what the little bit of a prizing bracket is going to be like today. Because now that we're like into the playoff bracket, this is when all of the really interesting stuff happens. Because more importantly, there's prizes on the line, and this is a 10K prize pot. So here's going to be a nice little breakdown of the money value that is attached to winning today.
Yeah, lots of money on the line, and of course we're playing on LAN. It's in person, there's a lot of tension, and so to add tension to tension, the first place prize is $5,500, and of course the top four are in the money, and of course these are qualifiers to play in the actual champs event later in the summer. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bracket. Today in our first game, we're going to try to follow Native Black early versus the Chirac gang, and of course these are all the other teams that have made it. You got Zero Marksman Black proceeding past Team Fish Taco, the Wet Rats taking out Jet Diff, who we saw yesterday. OXG Academy dominant over Northern Forces. OXG Academy, one of the more dominant forces in these events overall. Yeah, lots of variables left today. Lots of great matches still to come.
Yeah, and like you said, we're going to be starting out today Native Black versus Shrek Gang. And this is the best of 16, so this is a single elimination bracket, meaning that these two teams are going to be playing to move into the quarterfinals. Whichever team loses this best of 3, they're going to be sent home, but the other one are going to continue to advance and things here. So we're now seeing the lineup for Native Black up against Chirac Gang. And you know what? I think that this is going to be a pretty exciting game. Both of these teams looking pretty good so far, and honestly, I'm curious to see how this one's going to just play itself out.
Yeah, on the side of Native Black, rather, there are a lot of names that we are familiar with and, of course, have a lot of competitive experience, right? On the side of the Chirac gang, I'm not too familiar with any of them personally, so we might have a situation like yesterday where we saw Jet Diff going up against Last Resistance, where we knew a lot of the players on Jet Diff, didn't really know that many on Last Resistance, but that game still went the distance, went way closer than anyone could have expected. Now, both of these teams have already qualified to get into this bracket here, into the playoffs, so it may even be a closer game than that one, which I believe was like 13-9. So at the end of the day, I think we're in for a doozy, Marks.
In for a doozy indeed, and we've already got our map picks and bans. So first up, we're going to be going to Haven for map number 1, and then after that, we're going to be heading to Ascent. The first map pick is Native Black's pick, and then, of course, it's the other pick for Ascent. These are two maps that we saw a lot of yesterday, and honestly, this kind of makes sense to me just because, you know, they're two very classic Valorant matches. Right, Jim?
Yeah, super basic. At the end of the day, Haven is as simple as it can get. You know, they do have 3 sites that is a little different than the normal, but of course all these maps have their own little quirks and perks and all this other stuff. So Haven and Ascent definitely standard and par for the course. Breeze, a good variable to be a tiebreaker, and I think it's gonna lend itself to very op heavy play across all 3 of these maps, so we're gonna have to take a look at that. But let's take a look at the circuit marks, because we were talking about competition across the nation, and we have lots of it.
Oh, absolutely. As you can see, there's still 3 more different LANs happening. Georgetown, Denver, and Bakersfield are going to be happening in June and moving into July as well. And of course, you want to make sure to participate in these LANs if you're close by, because if you and your team win, then you guarantee yourself a spot in the final LAN at the end of Summer Champs, where everything just kind of comes to a head. So a lot more Valorant LAN action happening throughout the rest of the summer. I mean, this is Summer Champs. It's only June right now, so you know there's going to be a lot more happening from Nursery, right?
Yeah, it's exciting, and of course, if you want to get involved, make sure you can. Make sure you do. You know, it's there's tons of locations across the country, and so if you can't make any of these events, they are running events year long as well. So if you're looking to compete in Valorant, now is the best time to start if you haven't already, Marks. So apart from that, I think we're really excited for today's matches. You know, we've made it all the way into the playoffs. Yesterday was stacked with competition, and it was a little fun watching the venue cam as well. We got to see people just interacting in the venue. Is always cool at an actual LAN. So shout outs to production for making that happen time and time again, Marks.
Man, we're just gonna keep on saying time and time again.
Yeah,
is that just basically the vibe? You know, it's the caster's thing. It's fine. But yeah, like you said, Jim, I find that having this in-person LAN environment, you really feel like it's an experience more so than just participating in these online tournaments. Of course, you can talk about the ping difference. Well, everyone's going to have about like 10 to 15-ish ping, but at the same time, just being in the same room as your team, and also too having a live audience reaction makes such a big difference, especially too when you're going up against some of these more notable squads. We've talked about Jet Diff time and time again, and Jet Diff was put together from some of the players of Knights. We had a TSM Academy player on there. It was a pretty stacked team, and I can only imagine the faces of the opposing team that actually beat them out and eliminated them from the bracket. That was the Wet Rats. How much energy would have been there, and how crazy it would have been to actually see that one happen at the LAN in person.
Yeah, you know, all these combos, great plays only get amplified by that LAN energy, it's so much fun. And so, you know, these computers too that they're running on just are so freaking good, and so it's really a different experience altogether. Plus, you know, when else do you get the opportunity to play sort of on a stage in front of your friends and like your foes at the same time, you know, and put on a show and get that experience in the limelight? So it's a great opportunity and a great experience. I think that anyone can participate. So definitely, if you haven't, make sure you do. But a lot of these teams, you know, we finally made it to the round of 16 today. It's been a arduous journey for a lot of them, and so the score lines that we're looking at here, 2-0s across the board, you know, obviously from our matches yesterday, we know those could have been much closer than those score lines reflect, because we had matches go 13-11, 13-10, and be the closest best of threes that we've seen in a long time. So I'm excited for this matchup. We are in the round of 16. Things are going to get tense, and past this, if they lose here, they get eliminated.
No, that's how the single elimination bracket is going to be working. And once again, today we're going to be following it all the way to the finals. So a lot of great Valorant ahead of you, but it's all going to start here. Map number 1, we're going to Haven first. See how this one shakes out. This is a Native Black's map choice. And already, Jim, taking a look at some of these agents here. Look at this. We're going to be getting a fade on Haven. I'm surprised. We didn't see as much fade as I was expecting previously yesterday, but Fade is really coming into the meta right now and really taking over Sova's main spot. Otherwise, you can use Sky to get a little bit of information as your initiator here, but Fade just works extremely well to just have that really fast execute onto a site, or if you're retaking a site.
Yeah, I really like it. Double Initiator has been the meta for quite some time now, and I really love that Fade's coming back into it. I like her more aggressive playstyle overall, whereas Sova is a little more reserved generally. Fade kind of encourages you to use your prowlers, close the distance, and get some frags while your teammates can't, while your enemies can't hear anything, right? Strike the fear into their hearts. So the key differences that we're seeing compositionally is the Sky versus the KO, and of course the Breach and the Fade. Par for the course, once again, it really just depends on how they're going to play it, right? Native, they may go for a more aggressive play style here. Fade, like we were just talking about, does lend herself to that. And overall, on the side of CG here, they're going to be able to stall for quite a long time, right? If they need to buy time, they have some of the best characters in Sky and Breach to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And we're gonna have to make a decision right here, Jim, because if you look at the top right of a Native Black, there's Reltuck or Cutler. I think we're going to go with Cutler on this one.
Cutler, yeah, definitely.
I'm 99% sure that player's name is Cutler and not Reltuck. So we're just going to say Cutler, just to keep it simple, you know?
Yeah.
Twitch chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 99% sure that is Cutler.
Yeah, it's Cutler. A lot of these guys have a lot of experience. Cutler previously on Complexity, I believe. Yeah. And so I'm excited to see these guys play. It's been a while, and we are into the first round. It looks like a quick concuss, sending that chamber back into the spawn, and is a default from Native on the offense, starting things off, in Chirac Gang GG on the defense here with nobody on C.
Yeah, and honestly, that's a little bit of an interesting spread. They double stacked Garage. You don't really see that too often, but a huge paranoia.
Yeah, good paranoia. Finds one for his troubles on the dash. Native Adrenaline returns with the trade. It's a 4-on-4. They are on the C site, going for the plant here, and it's pretty standard so far. Chamber goes back down C long, has his TP set up. Oh, great shots from Kashel and Diamond. Good crossfire into Garage, and now they've got the lead here in a 4v2 and a 4v1. Good for another headshot. Full blind out of CT. Caloric gets rooted there on the tether, but he's going to pop out after it's over and get the kill. Quick round for Chirac, looking strong.
Yeah, Chirac Gang, once again, like you kind of mentioned at the beginning of the round, and a really good pickup there, was a very unconventional defense. We saw pretty standard stuff going on to that A site. You know, you send the jet down, you want to get as much space as possible, and you could tell that Native Black were using their chamber to try and contest that space. But they completely left C open, which is really strange, especially too when you have a chamber. Usually you have that chamber looking down those long sight lines with a headhunter in hand, especially too on that pistol round, because you're going to get so much value if they decide to push on to C. But no, instead they double stacked Garage, and that was actually the smart move here, because Native Black wanted to just completely just run through Garage, and they were more or less shut down as a result of it. A good opening frag, just allowing the team to just replay it. And then it was just textbook Valorant engages here, and already it's not looking too good for this chamber player. Cutler having a hard time pushing forwards.
Having a hard time. Of course, they do have the information that someone has pushed up A long, and so Cutler's just going to be waiting on this angle. He gets flashed out in the close push from Skarn. Michael Skarn, 60 TV. Great pickup there. It's traded out. It's a quick 4v4. 4v4 is what you want generally in an eco round. Diamond pushes into that smoke and drops out of it after picking up one on Huston. Cloric still in this great corner, picking up an advantage here. 4v2 for Chirac Gaming. The dog is going to connect onto Fade in the window, and off the back of that, the Sky's going to back up, use the flash to try and buy herself some time and make it safely back to the A site, as Chirac Gaming are hanging out on this defense.
Yeah, and Morg just trying to morb it up right now, has a shorty in hand, looking for an opportunity to swing out and potentially just completely punish somebody. But yeah, this has been a pretty easy round for Chirac thus far. It's nice and easy, and of course, you can talk about a gun difference there, but I think in general, just dumping the utility and stopping that A-side push was so important. It didn't give up any ground to Native Black, and the rest was just a very easy cleanup. Oh, he gets one.
Yeah, not bad. Overall, pretty standard bonus round at this point. Chirac comfortably at 2 rounds now. Okay, we're going to see a buy round from Native Black, and of course Chirac will be bonusing, but interestingly enough, Kashel, who we saw pop off early with those headhunter kills in the first round, opting for the operator.
This is a little bit of a choice. I mean, obviously, just taking a look at these buys right now, you know, we're not going to be seeing that operator, but it's going to be interesting because we do see that this is going to be a pretty hard bonus round, in my opinion. Especially, too, with Michael Scarn only having that Frenzy. No ultimates online to really just pad that out and make sure that this is possible. And meanwhile, Native Black, they've got all the weapons needed in their arsenal, and they're not afraid to take space onto this A site. Despite all the utility that could have been sent out, they know what combos could happen, and so they're more or less just ready to just kind of absorb all of it before pushing forwards at all.
Native have a pretty good read here. Unfortunately, they might just get timinged, and they do, as Diamond now decides to push out. More good on the push, though. Finds one, finds a third there. Beautifully done onto Michael Scarn. Almost gets timing, almost gets rocked, but instead is able to play it better than Chirac right there, as they're stuck now, spread across the B site, sending out the Paranoia. Doesn't connect, hits the TP onto the B site. Is Whitmer aware? Ooh. He is, but he's not expecting to. Toneho and Co. Now pushing from CT. Huston waiting with the Vandal. He's going to back up, throw the flash, buy himself some time. It's a 4v2. They just don't want to lose any rifles at this point.
All right, Jim, that was pretty clever. I'll give you that one. But yeah, like you said, right now, this is just Native Black. They just got to make sure to hang on to their rifles. If they lose any more of their members, it's going to be extremely difficult for them because they're not going to be able to carry these rifles forwards. And Toneho really just kind of trading it back, kind of taking a page out of Morg's book and trying to get as much as possible. Honestly, they might be able to get this defuse here. I'm not too sure with the timing. Oh, down to the wire there. Darn. I believed it just for a second, but yeah, that's
a second.
Honestly, really good for Chirac here because this means that they were able to take out quite a few rifles from Native Black, and that means that their economy is going to be a lot more strained. And you can see this in their buy right now. They're buying those Vandals. They have enough money to just make that happen, but they're not going to be able to buy up their full abilities, nor shields. And meanwhile, Chirac, they're going to be sitting nice and pretty. You talked about that operator last round, but now Cash is going to be bringing that one out. And Chamber with an operator. I've seen this one before, and it's probably going to go pretty well for them, but Native Black, they're in a little bit of a tight angle here with a very explosive C hit, or at least it's just to apply a little bit of pressure here.
See how this one works out for them. Whitmer, does he clear the left angle? No, he doesn't, and he's going to pay for it. Traded out by Huston, and he's good for 2 on the exit there. You love to see it. Now stuck in a 3v4. Chirac setting a dog out through CT. It's the Sky in the chamber approaching from there in the breach, posted up in the window. A lot of the members of Native Black now are pushing back into C-Long, trying to play the distance. Obviously, it's planted for them out there. This is always a dangerous spot. We have talked about it before. You are going to get pre-fired here, and if you're expecting some CT presence, you kind of got to swing. Cutler with a great swing, TP's out, finds the pick. Now in a 3v2, Chirac on the site itself. Flash not going to connect with anything. He needs to tap the spike and draw out these peaks. Otherwise, it's going to be tough. And on the other side of things, the Chamber has gone for the save all towards A site.
Yeah, you want to make sure that that operator is online, but look at this Adrenaline all the way over here already. I think the sound was given, though, so Keisha's going to have a pretty easy time of just camping that one out. But yeah, not enough time to get that defuse onto there. And a very clean execute coming in from Native Black. They just kind of used the speed advantage to run their way onto that C site and set up very quickly. And honestly, lately we've been seeing the spike planted onto that C site in a couple of different positions, but that one is just such an easy C site place. It makes total sense because you can just play long, play off the utility, and you're going to have more or less a pretty good time. Worst comes worst, you get a smoke out there, you can just spray it down and hope for the best. We have a little bit of a tech pause coming in here, but a huge round coming in for Native Black. Chirac were looking fairly dominant on this defense thus far, and of course, you know, the rifle difference can make a little bit of a difference, but Chirac really just forced the issue on that round and almost were able to convert it back around, so they got to be feeling a little bit scared, I guess. But of course, too, this is the very first game in the day, so we're just kind of chilling in, we're easing into it, and that's why this is going to be a really important match to see what happens here. But I'm curious to see how Native Black are going to continue their attacks. They look better when they do go full send onto a site. Just go nice and easy, run it down, use your utility smart, you're going to have a good time. But they got to make sure that they're checking their corners. Simple mistakes like that are giving Chirac a huge opportunity to swing these rounds back into their favor. And so we saw that just then when the Nightfall came out. And you know, the Nightfall is great because you see the little tracks on the ground, but if you have an Omen just hanging hanging out on the other side of a smoke, you're not going to have the base information of where they are standing unless you throw out the haunt as well. We need to see that comboing of utility just a little bit more to get the maximum value out of that fade, and I think that, honestly, that'll give Native Black a huge advantage.
Yeah, and I think Native Black right now are working themselves up some great momentum as well, right? They found that first round. They just got this second round. It's a tied game at 2-2, and so going into the fifth round, they have an even playing field. They have the advantage of winning the past two, and like you said, now that they can start getting the machine rolling, get the engine, you know, really functioning at a high level, get it steaming, maybe those fade combos will come into play more and more as time progresses. There are a lot of options for fade though on this map. I really like it. Of course, when we talk about lineups, you always want to try to use the Phoenix Molly lineups, a lot of which stem from playing in the links on C and A, right? There's a lot of retake capabilities. So with that fade, like you mentioned, although we're seeing Chirac play really quick, that fade has a great retake potential. And so if they even want to let Chirac take the site, get onto it, and then fall back, they have great options. Like you said, if they can use that haunt, pair it with the Prowler, and then pair it with some other util for some other team members, they're going to be in a great spot for all of these retakes. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. Of course, it's a tight game so far, but it's only the first game in this BO3 series, and we are ready to hop back into it. On this buy, though, you can see Cashel, I'm not sure the exact pronunciation of that, so if anyone knows, let us know. We are happy to pronounce it correctly. And so sticking to that op as the rest of his team goes on an eco here. Diamond close range with the Sheriff, not going to hit it as Huston pushes through. The spike gets planted onto B site, and Whitmer is locking down the back.
And look at this, it was so explosive onto B, they just stormed it and completely just took over. Now Cash gonna be turning around the corner, takes the operator duel, but Whitmer wins that one out. Regardless, the reinforcements coming in from behind B, and now they're gonna have rifles.
In a 3-on-3, Morgan, a great spot using the high ground here. This is why you want to play Omen on this map. Lots of potential to use high ground, but if you're going to get flashed like that and get wrecked as quickly as that, there's really no chance to make anything happen. Chirac, great on the retake, and like you mentioned, man, that speed really working out for them.
Oh, absolutely. I really want to highlight just the utility usage that came in there because I thought it was so well done. Obviously, you do have the guiding light from Sky to enable easy entry onto B, but the timing of it all was just absolutely spotless. They were able to clean up the one kill into the back line, and how Native Black had set up that post plan I thought was honestly really good. They had their angle locked down. They knew that they were coming from B main, but they couldn't do anything about it, and that's what we want to see coming in from the Sky pick. Chloric really making that Sky work, and as a result, they're rewarded with a round. So now, we are seeing that it is a little bit strained on Native Black, but they're going to be running out, trying to get the Ult Orb to allow that Blade Storm to come online, because that'll help pad them out just a little bit more, and it should make this round a lot easier, especially for this offense.
Taking a 4-man split down 8 long now. Ooh, Diamond good for one in a weird spot, though, in the open. Whitmer going to trade it out quickly as the KO ultimate gets activated, and they're trying to push onto the site with the Blade Storm, but they're not able to connect. Whitmer looking for some, and he has one knife left as Chloric around the side on default finds one. Cutler opens things up onto the site. Now in a 3v3, Native still waiting a plant here. Swings around the right side, a double swing. Good for one. Michael Skarn from CT finds one as well with the smoke. Dashes onto the site, has the help of the Omen, and they are in the faces of the enemy. Chirac GG playing quick.
Oh yeah, that was very speedy from honestly both of these teams there. And once again, I like that we saw that double swing come out there because you don't expect. Okay, I'm not going to say that one of the teammates was baited there, but you saw that the jet flew out, and then the chamber immediately steps out with the operator just to be able to secure the kill. And there's a little bit of an overwhelmed to the senses when two people just kind of hang out around the corner. And so it's a little bit tough to kind of deal with there. But I love the speed on the retake there. Both Toneho and Michael Skarn just make their way so quickly onto the site, overwhelm Cutler because he only has an operator, and the rest was history. We need to see this explosive speed continuing to come back if they want to continue to just play this site retake, because honestly that's the best way that both of these teams have been able to get the advantage. Just take the other team by surprise using that speed, and life is going to be good. And speaking about life being good, it's going to be Chirac Gaming up against a save round, and already Keish has found the first kill.
Good for one quick one. Love that with the operator. Spike not planted yet. Tone in a great spot to find 2 on that garage push. They weren't expecting him to be in that corner, so paying off huge as Native Black are dropped down to just 2 remaining members. Michael Scarn holding onto the C site, but whiffing on that spray. We've all been there, and of course, Morg finds 1, but Diamond from the back, good for 2. Great timing on that, and Chirac GG, taking it 5-2.
Oh man, that was looking good. And yeah, we're going to be seeing Native Black pull out a timeout. Just as a reminder, in the grand scheme of things, this was Native Black's map pick. And so as a result, they need to start getting these rounds because Chirac are looking extremely good thus far. They're, once again, just in the right place at the right time. They're setting up their flanks properly and are just catching so many good timings onto Native Black. So Native Black, they're really good at just being so explosive onto site, but Chirac really look like they're starting to understand that. They're not afraid to send out the flankers a little bit earlier just to kind of get in there and do it nice and quick. So this is going to be tough, but hopefully this is going to be a good opportunity for Native Black to reset, figure out what's working, and set up some anti-flank potential, because I think that this is starting to steamroll just with how they've been going.
Yeah, and you know, when you had mentioned the speed before, my mind just obviously latched onto it, and speed is what I think is catching a lot of people off guard. You know, in that initial play, that retake with the jet dash and the Omen TP, the shadow step onto the site, that is way aggressive than I think anyone would have been prepared for, especially with how long that shadow step takes to really fully form. So they're just doing things that I think Native Black are not necessarily ready for. And so great tactical timeout. Hopefully it pays dividends for them. We're going into this round number 8 with full buys on both sides, operators on both sides. Let's see how Cash plays this one. He's been pretty good with the op so far, but gets smoked out and needs to dip immediately.
Yeah, I've got a lot of information though. Should be able to give the clue away that there are 3 members hanging in onto Garage. That's exactly what's going to happen. We do see that Chirac are going to be rotating their members around, but of course the spike is still in the spawn in the hands of the chamber. So Native Black are going to be trying to reposition themselves. They've had the most success onto this B site, and so I'm wondering to see whether or not they do try and stick the issue. If they can get that spike down, maybe set up the post plant in a little bit of a different area, it could work out. But Jim, the spike is still all the way back. Okay, now it's finally moving its way forwards.
Cutler picks it up. Native Black attempting a B push, scouting it out. Little do they know there's 3 people on that ceiling presence as Diamond. Rolling Thunder activated, gonna stop the plant. Knocks up 2 or 3 members that are on the B site, but they have yet to get through this Omen smoke. Houston now, good for 1 with a headshot. Spike yet to be planted, 40 seconds still left on the clock. Whitmer from the top, Fade using that tether, finds 1 as the spike gets planted. And now on a 4v5, Houston still good for 2. Diamond from the link, though, finds 1, pushes out Whitmer from the top, capitalizes on Diamond, goes back and forth now in a 1v2. Cash, with an operator in hand, could decide to save it, could decide to go big here.
Definitely Houston has to go big right now.
No has to go big, but Houston good for 4, just a menace on the site.
Oh man, hey, we got the cams, Jim, we got the cams. Let's go. Yeah, look at that, so many people already just gaming. You can see the people already looking over other people's shoulders and stuff like that, but a huge play coming in from there, and this is why we like that B site, especially for this post plant positions. You called it out a little bit earlier, but I just want to re-highlight it again. You know, especially too when you have Omen, a jet, you can play a little bit more vertically, and if you have the time to properly set up your post plants, then I think it just works out so well to just defend that B site. You could literally be anywhere, and you're going to force your opponents to swing their mouses up and down. Crosshair placement, who needs it? Not Michael Scarn, that's for sure, because he comes up big with 2.
Houston watching from a distance, but overall Native Black second guessing their choice to go C and really just taking their time. They're watching their flanks. They know that Cash likes to get aggressive on this A push. Morg, smart choice. I really love the design of this spawn area. It gives you another route so you don't get absolutely clapped if someone pushes up A here. Cutler equalizes things 3-3. Native Black 3 rounds to Chirac's 5. Taking it slow now, Cash and Morg just passing each other. No real information just yet. That bird's not going to give away anything either.
Yeah, now we do see that they are going to be going on to B yet again. Thankfully, for Chirac, this is not the worst scenario because they still have this guide, still have the breach, and that should be plenty of utility to try and make things a little bit easier. The null command going to be activated, though, just to secure the plan.
Yeah. Can't say I hate it because it's a good move, but ultimately that Breach is able to play far enough away that he can still use his util comfortably. Chloric now trying to close his distance. Morg with the paranoia in hand. They try to go for a quick pop flash and a push, wasting that paranoia quick, and they give up the push on that side. Cash has a free corridor here, so if he can work his way up quickly, he might prove to be a menace. Houston, though, on the site. We know he can find 4 in a row. Morg putting down the smoke. Cutler finds one from the window. Chloric returns in a 2v2. Houston backs on out into the corridor. Oh, Cutler almost hits the shot. He actually legs him, and Chloric is good on the swing. Now in a 1v2, this is tough. Spots out one. Misses the shot. One's getting defused. He's able to stop it, but Chloric finds the headshot, and of course it's at half, so the defuse will be good.
Wow. That was honestly a close one there. That was crazy down to the wire. Oh man, okay, this is gonna be great because now we're gonna be able to flash back to this to the actual LAN every single time one of these clutches kind of comes into play here. But a huge play coming in from Michael Scarn just to start the round out, just so aggressive, and you could tell that Native Black were just not expecting that at all. Gets rewarded with 2, but really good patience coming in from Native Black, able to trade it out, even out the playing field a little bit more, and then the rest was honestly looking up. It was good. It was equalized just before that spike went down. Probably popped the null command just a little bit too early in my opinion, but given the fact that there was no information, it makes sense to me. Now Michael Scarn, blades in hand, getting aggressive yet again, might catch someone off guard. Looks like that's going to be the case, and the spike is down.
Oh, gotta check your corners. Michael Scarn goes for the updraft, tries to pull off some Soul Dam tech, but unfortunately gets clapped for his, you know, confidence there, his boldness. It was a great opening, but Chirac sitting comfortably at 4-2, and he spotted 2 there, Cash did, so they're really just hanging out on the defense. Native gonna have to pull off a miracle to try and make this happen. Does he know that Morg has made it onto the site, though? Diamond, kind of aware, holding CT, doesn't even want to give him the chance to try and take his head off.
Yeah, and now at this point they know where some of these agents might be hanging out here. Could be interesting, but this tour de force is so scary.
It is so scary, and of course, like a laser. Ooh, Diamond with the double peek there is good for 1. Morg dodges the stun, but gets concussed, gets flashy, seeing God, and Cash delivers him hand first. 7-3 there. Chirac looking really good, man. And like, once again, I think it's just this level of aggression, like you were saying, the playmaking from Michael Scarn and that breach, and just the trust that they have in each other seems to be working out really well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell that they look practiced when they move into here. And yeah, look at this. Michael Scarn has been getting such a forward advancement onto the beginnings of these rounds, which just honestly sets the team up for success. That Jet being aggressive on C and then on A is making Native Black kind of question themselves. But that was a save round for Native Black. This time around, they will have rifles. And we're going to be seeing Cutler bust out the tour de force to try and round out their arsenal. And that could be huge. Whitmer as well, going to be bringing out the Blade Storm. Looking for some Michael Scarn-esque plays. But already Michael Scarn just punishes that one. Getting a little bit of a jet diff. Sorry, that team's been eliminated already. But a very good start to the round for Chirac.
Yeah, really nicely done from Michael Scarn, especially to meter the aggression, because if you know their enemy jet, the offensive jet, has their knives, they're probably going to push that grass area, look garage, and then look mid. Michael Scarn decides not to run it all the way down mid, but knows where to meet that enemy jet, and so finds the kill, dashes out, comes out on top, and Chirac are chilling on the defense, letting the plant go down, and then playing a comfortable retake here. They've got the Rolling Thunder, they have the Omen ultimate, but like you mentioned, on the side of Native, they're working with the Tour de Force, and they have that Haunt to come out pretty soon.
Very slow. Rolling Thunder in position. As soon as this one goes, I imagine they're going to be ready. Let's see this engagement.
Next onto Morg in Hell. Destroys the Watcher, but not before Cutler's able to connect on one through the smoke. Great push from Diamond, finds 2 quick ones, almost with the third. Morg able to tuck back in as Native 2v3 here. TP to bait out the team. You love to see it. Tone good for 1, Morg good for another, but Michael Scarn clutching up when they need him most and finds the last kill to put 8 on the board for Chirac.
And let's talk about Michael Scarn. We've talked about him a little bit thus far. Obviously, trying to deal with Goldface is going to make you nice and battle ready. But we're seeing the fruition of that happening right here, right now. Because what we're seeing is Michael Scarn is not afraid to take the aggression early on. Immediately finds a pick or two, just making it so much easier for the rest of Chirac to just have an easier round. When they're down a couple of members right off the bat, it's absolutely massive. And on top of that too, when we do see these retakes coming in for Chirac, they look incredibly coordinated. They're playing off their utility so well, and they're not even giving Native Black a chance to really counter them. It comes down to the chaos in the smokes. That's where Native Black are able to capitalize on things, but so far this has been a stellar defense coming in from Chirac, and now it's going to be the last round in the half. Native Black bringing 2 operators in while having a couple of glass cannons, and just like that, Whitmer's down.
Yeah, great try from Whitmer with the jump shot. The reason people do that, just if you were wondering, is so you can jump over the initial angle that the enemy operator is holding and try to get the advantage on them. However, Cash, kind of expecting it, was holding it wide, and Whitmer walks right into it. Dog, Prowler going into CT, not going to connect as it gets shot out. Great connection from Tone, able to TP back into safety, and so Cutler sees one on C default and finds him through the box. Beautifully done. Diamond connecting with the aftershock as Morg finds one with the operator in mid, and now in a 1v3 Cutler. He's going to want to save his op, but this is a scary situation to be in, but it is, you know, the last round before the half here, so might as well give it a go. You can try and put your team at 4 rounds to 8 or end the half at a 9-3.
Yeah, and honestly, I want to also highlight Diamond here. Diamond has been doing an amazing job with the utility of slowing down Native Black and also just kind of catching them off guard, being able to get these flanks. Cutler has spotted out the end of Michael Scarn's barrel, but it's coming in here, and Diamond is down. Next up is Michael Scarn, but makes that look easy. It's now 9-3. We're going to be throwing to a quick break before we come back in the second half of this map.
Welcome one, welcome all, welcome back to the NSG Monthly Chicago LAN. We are in Chi-Town, baby. We are at halftime, and now Chirac Gang GG are leading 9-3 over Native Black in a very tumultuous first half, to say the least. Lots of ups, lots of downs. Native Black still trying to find their footing, but it's not over just yet, right, March? We've seen some miraculous comebacks over the course of 2 days so far, and so anything's possible as we head into the second half. Native Morg trying to connect onto Michael Scarn, but the movement is too good with the frenzy, and he comes out on top as Whitmer returns for one. Scarn goes for a second, but Whitmer comes out on top.
And this is unparalleled aggression that we're just seeing there. Finally, they're able to shut that one down, but the damage has been more than done. Never mind, Glory actually ties that one back. With that frenzy in hand, it's all evened out again.
One enemy remaining.
2-on-2, Adrenaline, great shots, and Cutler in a good spot by Garage is able to find the head of Cash, and coming out on top, putting number 1 in the second half, 4-9 for Native Black.
Yeah, that's a very important start to this half here. Of course, Native Black, they need to be getting things back together for them, because Shrek were able to pick up 9 rounds in the first half. It's only 4 more away from losing their own map pick. So, Native Black, this is a step in the right direction, but they got to play this extremely well if they want to have a shot at tying up the score. This is going to be pretty tough, but we're seeing them buy up quite a bit here. Cutler going for that Marshall, eventually looking for those headshots early on. But if anybody has a shield, it's not going to be a one-shot kill unless it's into their head.
Destroying the Prowler, nice and easy. I'm always a fan of the Elder Flame skins. Always love those little dragon dudes.
So cool.
They are cool. I recently purchased the Elder Flame Vandal. I'm a shill for Riot Games, so spent $25 on that damn thing. They always know, man. They always know.
They got your number. Well, actually, they have your credit card information.
Yeah, they actually do. They have my PayPal, bro. Okay, Adrenaline with a good push. Prowler finds 1, capitalizes on that. Quickly made into a 5v4. At this point, Native Black, they're going to fall back because they got numbers. So they're going to send someone back over to B site, try to play some defense here, and just hold on for dear life.
Yeah, this is a pretty smart play, especially, too, given the fact that Chirac only have glorified pistols. Of course, that KO does a really good job of shutting down the Headhunter, which right now that might be their biggest concern. But still, this is going to be Chirac getting set up for a potential B-side hit. Cutler, though, watching it with a Marshall, might find somebody there, is able to find Cash, but it's through a wall, resulting in no kills whatsoever. The smoke is good, and this is going to be the spike coming down.
Paranoia through. Cutler's good for 1. Houston finds a second. Whitmer from the link finds a third, and now Chloric stuck in a 1v5. Spike has been planted. Defuse not coming out just... Oh, yeah, is coming out. Chloric finds 1, stops the defuse. That's all you really need to find in that situation. Well done. Of course, this was the eco round for Chirac, so casually a 4-0 round there. 5-9 for Native Black. But here we go. It'll be the next buy round here.
Yeah, that's, you know, it just chaos. Just hops in there, able to stop the defuse. Get at least the pick, though. And I think that's kind of important. Otherwise, it would have been a flawless round for Native Black, and that might have been a little bit hard. We're seeing that they are going to be forcing out the rifle purchase. Adrenaline is going to have that Phantom, but this is going to be Chirac's rifle round. And as a result, we're going to be potentially seeing a new strategy on this engagement and really just kind of using that rifle difference. They need to play a little bit more longer range if they want to overpower their foes, because their foes mostly have the Spectres in their hands. And, you know, it's a little hard to play the long range duel against the Spectre compared to a Phantom, but Houston just going in and going hard.
That's exactly what you want to see out of a KO with the Spectre. Pop flashing out of that smoke, dropping into their face, finding 2. Tone equalizes, though, 3-3. Pushing through CT. Whitmer doesn't care. Got the Spectre in hand, tries to connect on the Chloric. He's just better, though, from that distance. And Adrenaline with the Frenzy. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way you want it to. And now Chirac in a 3v1. Looking good on their buy round and picking up number 10.
Yeah, and honestly, it was that unprecedented aggression through garage window that you don't expect. The pop flash going in, and then Houston just runs it down, Spectre in hand. Don't let up that W key or that left mouse button, and throw a couple of space bars in there as well. And you're going to have yourself a nice 2K. That honestly would have been the clincher for the reason why Native Black were able to win that round. But doesn't work out that way. As soon as Houston falls down, then it's an easy cleanup for Chirac. This is going to be the rifle round coming in. Whitmer is going to be only on a judge this time around, probably because Adrenaline did buy up a rifle. And yeah, they've hit double digits now, so Native Black have a 5-round differential, and it's going to be the Blade Storm coming online from Whitmer to round out that gun difference.
Taking some quick space in A short, and of course, Chirac's own Jet doing the same in Garage. Diamond jump peek and see long. The smoke does go down, so there's an opportunity to try and gather some information here. Looks like Chirac waiting for an A presence from Native Black. They had their breach take the orb on C long, so hopefully they're trying to draw out some presence on the other side of the map. Seeker's going out, detecting Whitmer. Whitmer going for the peek momentarily, but decides he needs to get out of there. Cutler peeks, helps his teammate, finds one, and is able to back on out to the site as Michael Scarn with a dash in, followed by the flash, able to find one, gets blinded, hit by the paranoia and tethered, and is stuck in the middle of hell, but Tone and Chloric are there to help him out. 4-2 now on the board, 4-1 as Tone finds a second, and Chirac are looking good.
Oh man, I was gonna praise that. I really like that defense. You know, you set up your jet and then have the chamber watching from long, so when the jet wants to back off, chamber can get a pick, and it's nice and easy. But once again, the name of the game is unprecedented aggression. You don't expect Michael Scarden to just completely just run into the spot, despite the fact that so much utility was tracking him, and just gets rewarded with it. The rest of the team follows while they're looking at this jet just dashing by them. The rest of the Native Black were gonna be hitting the ground as Chirac just run in and only lose a single member on that entry. A very clean round coming in for them, and it's looking like they're going to be 11-5 after this spike explodes.
Or you're trying to get a couple picks, but as soon as he spots out Chloric spots him back and hits the headshot. So well done. Like you mentioned, 11-5 for Chirac. Let's take a look at the econ for the side of Native Black, because I can't imagine that it's in any good place here, and it's not. You know, timeout here, really, you know, it's on the Native side. It's a last-ditch timeout. You know, 11-5 at this point. Your econ is kind of messed up, and so maybe they're formulating some sort of game plan where they go for a rush 5-man down mid or something, where they split up and try to get a couple of picks, pick up some weapons, and play the long game. I hope they're able to find something, though. This is a best-of-3 series at the end of the day. So maybe Native, this is just not their map right now, and so they need a little time to warm up. Either way, great match so far, and I'm happy with what we're seeing from Chirac.
Yeah, I'm really happy from what we're seeing from Chirac, and you know, it's these early plays that I think set the pace for the rest of the round. I can't really fault them for any of their positioning right now. Native Black on their defense have a pretty standard setup, honestly, and there's a reason why it's a standard setup. Is generally speaking, it's going to work out, but just the overwhelming force that Chirac are bringing in here, they're not afraid to just use their utility to rush it in. It's such clean executes coming in, and this aggression, watching each other's shoulders, are the reason why these rounds are going for Chirac. And now Native Black, they're getting a little bit scared. Once again, like you said, this is a little bit of a scattered buy. They're going to be back onto their pistols, and Chirac are sitting nice and comfortable. Only need 2 more rounds to win out Native Black's map choice. And then next up, we've got Ascent, which is Chirac's map. So it's not looking too good for Native Black right now. They got to start figuring something out, and hopefully off of that timeout, they're able to reset what they want to do, figure out how they want to play this defense a little bit differently, and start to shut down some of these Chirac plays.
Quick 5-man push out C long, Native Black making their presence known. Rolling Thunder gonna catch Michael Scarn, unfortunately, metering that aggression as Houston anchoring in the smoke. Whitmer and Houston good for 2, more good for a third. Returning back and forth. It's a 2-on-2 as Whitmer from CT finds one, and now in a 1v1, Diamond is good for 2, putting on a masterclass time and time again. Chirac GG up at 12-5.
Man, and I just want to say, we talked about Diamond also being really good with the utility, but Diamond has been consistently really good with fragging out as well. Constantly finding 2 or 3 picks on the way out or clutching up the rounds. Of course, when you look at the leaderboard, Toneho is on top, and that's just because Toneho is not afraid to just teleport onto his site and just spray things down, finding picks left and right. The mouse movements are insane, let me just tell you that. But this has been an excellent performance coming out from every single member of Chirac thus far, and now they are on map point. Native Black will have a better buy this round, but still, things are not looking great for them. They also have that null command to work with, but that is going to be more of a retake ultimate as opposed to a stall ultimate.
Not going to connect on any information down mid with the bird, the hawk. Still 5-on-5, a minute 15 left on the clock. No info really other than the smoke, so now Cash realizes that there's probably going to be some garage aggression, pops out of this smoke in a great angle, and is ready for the push there. Traded out, though, by Morgan, not expecting 2.
Ooh, and that's kind of good. I've noticed lately Native Black, they're more comfortable playing inside of their smokes and trying to play a closer game. I think that actually is working out in their favor. It's allowing for these moments of chaos, but Chirac have just kind of come out on top of that. And I think that's mostly because of their utility. Specifically, the Sky Flashes have been astronomical in trying to set the pace of this, and now the spike is down. It's going to be 4v4 on this retake. Not a lot of ultimates, but already a flank is being set up.
Yeah, thinking twice about that flank, opting to go for a 3-man push through garage, which I'm not sure how I feel about as 3-on-3 here. Omen splits up and decides to go towards CT. Ooh. Cutler good for 1 and a 2-on-2 now. Cutler for good for 2. Omen from the back. Diamond finds him. Got the aftershock in hand, but Diamond repositions, re-aims, and finds the kill for 13-5, taking the first game of this BO3.
Oh my goodness, congratulations to Chirac. They looked really good. Chirac gang on top, number 1. They made that one look absolutely clean. A very easy first map for them. They looked so rehearsed on Haven. And once again, this was Native Black's map pick. So an excellent showcase coming out from this team, Jim.
Yeah, really well done. And honestly, like we had mentioned, we didn't know what to expect from either of these teams, right? We knew about Michael Scarn. We didn't really know about a bunch of the other players on Chirac. Whereas for Native Black, there's a lot of credible names. And so it was great to watch that 13-5 Chirac playing for Chicago, you know, repping the city on their back. And that's a great opening game. So that's definitely making a statement. Going into this next one, though, it is a best of 3, like you mentioned. Endurance is the name of the game, right? So if Native Black can sort of counter strat, kind of regroup here, there is still an opportunity, Marks.
Yeah, it seems like right now that Chirac have leveled up their game. And hey, if you want to take your candy game to the next level with a pack of delicious Mike and Ike original fruits or Mike and Ike Mega Mix, this delicious, fruity, chewy flavors will help fuel your game and power you up to keep playing at your best. So power up with Mike and Ike. And just like that, hey, Mike and Ike, honestly, like unironically, one of my favorite candies out there. It's so good. They're just chewy. It's great. We always have a good time, right, Jeff?
Always have a good time. Chewy, gummy, fruity, power up your game. You know, you heard it from Marks himself. What else could you want, guys? Yeah, great game though so far. I'm happy with it. And if I'm not mistaken, we went to Haven to start things off, and then we will be going to Ascent for map 2. So thoughts on any differences between those 2 maps? Anything that we might see done differently from Native Black? You had mentioned they like playing that close range. Maybe that works out for them here.
Well, it might work out for them, but before we do go to our second map, we are actually going to be throwing to a break to allow these teams to reset, get things set up for the next one. So we're going to have you percolate with some of those thoughts of your own while we go to a break, and we'll catch you just after this.
Spacey shit.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerd Street Valorant Chicago LAN for Summer Champs. We've got a really exciting match for you right now. It's Chirac Gang going up against Native Black. And Jim, it's already off to a little bit of a spicy start, but right now Chirac Gang look firmly in control of what was originally Native Black's map pick.
Surprising. 13-5 for Chirac Gang, like you mentioned, on Native Black's map pick. We had mentioned it multiple times throughout the game itself. Aggression.
Oh yeah.
Unmetered, unfiltered, and just getting so much value. Time and time again, we end up at this location, but of course, it's only because of plays from Michael Scarn and all this crazy stuff. The breach support that we had coming out for him, plays from Houston too, even coming in with his own aggression, and Cutler, great support for his teammate at the end of the day, but it's just really not enough. The shot calling from the side of Chirac, working so well, playing so well across the map, and moving cohesively as a team. Super surprising, but 13-5 is, it's sending a message more than anything.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely is sending a message. And maybe it's like, it's the morning, the first game of the day. Not the best, but Native Black, they got to pull it back here if they want to force out that map number 3. Otherwise, they are facing elimination in our playoff bracket. So next up, we are going to Chirac Gang's map pick, which they're going to be taking us to Ascent, a map that we see time and time again. A lot of very classic picks on here. But Jim, what are your thoughts on Ascent in general?
Ascent, great. Honestly, it feels very like just a classic map. It's a 3-lane map, lots of long lines of sight. I love the creativity a lot of teams use when approaching the A side. Say if you're on offense and you're trying to split, basically taking mid control is super important, and splitting through as you're hitting either of the sites will obviously be key. You can kind of say that about any map, most importantly on Ascent though, right? That catwalk area leading into tree can give you so much control of the map. And so even if you have someone lurk through there on your push to B, there's a lot of value. And so what I want to see out of Chirac, out of a team that we know play super aggressively, is more of that. Maybe we'll see Michael Scarn end up in weird spots through tree, weird spots through B main. I'm excited to see it because a good lurker could really ruin your life on this map.
Oh, absolutely. I'm also very curious to see how Cutler is going to get set up on this map. We know that there's such long sight lines, specifically on mid, but also too on A if you're playing defensively, and Cutler is really good with it when it comes to that operator and headhunter. And so I wouldn't be too surprised if we did see another sniper-esque composition kind of coming out from Native Black to try and keep that mid control theirs. Of course, though, we're going to be seeing how this one plays out because Chirac's so aggressive. That's a good way to counter. The best way to counter a sniper, get up right into their face and say hello. Because they'll be completely caught off guard. And we've seen that time and time again, that is basically how they counter strat the sniper setup that Native Black continuously were bringing out here. So we are going to be loading in, and let's see what these two teams want to be bringing to the table. Once again, this is for elimination. If Native Black don't win this map and force out that map number 3, they're going to be eliminated from the tournament today. So a lot on the line here, but that Chirac Gang got to be feeling confident off of that last map, feeling really good now that it is their own map pick, and they're ready to send Native Black packing and send them home.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I do want to mention on this map, Ascent really plays well for Fade especially. All these high walls give great access to that Watcher, that eyeball that she's able to toss out. And if the way it works is if anything is in the line of sight of it, it will detect it and it will reveal it to the rest of the team that used it. So while it could be strong, it doesn't look like we're actually going to get any of that action at this time around. So quickly dashing those hopes, we're going to be seeing Sovas on both sides. Almost a mirror apart from the KO and the breach here. Plus, ooh, interesting, not opting for a chamber and instead opting for a KJ, which we know has multiple setups on this map.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I actually really like this KJ pick over the chamber. Obviously, you do have that operator potential coming in from Michael Scarn, but I'm not too sure that Michael Scarn is going to be the one opping because Michael likes to play close and in your face, right? You don't usually send your sniper onto that. And so as a result, it's going to be interesting to see how this one goes. I love this KJ pick because I think Killjoy, despite the fact that, Your equipment can get taken out pretty easily, gives a lot of information, and those swarm grenades really control the pace of the round, especially too if the attacking team is pushing in to a defending KJ setup. It just works out so well, and I think that's why they're bringing Houston in on this KO. Try and catch that KJ off guard, disable all of that utility, and suddenly you have an open site. You just got to deal with a lurking KJ in the back, and life is going to be nice and easy. So it's going to be interesting to see how these counter shots play out here, but regardless, we're going to be starting out with Chirac Gang on our offense, and this is going to be Native Black starting us out on the defense. I'm curious to see what type of defensive setup they're going to be bringing in.
I'm kind of excited here. Like you mentioned, that KJ, so many setups and great on the defense. They will be starting on the attack, and Michael Scarn gets in your face with that ghost. It's going to be a problem. Diamond been showing off really how good for 2 he is almost every round, right? Like, that first game, he was just putting on a showcase for the Breach players around the world tuning in today. So we are on LAN, ladies and gentlemen, and if you are just tuning in, Chirac GG lead the way with a 1-game victory in this best of 3 series. We're in the playoffs and almost connecting there through the wall as Cash sets up the turret. Morg goes for a peek, quick into A main, gets bopped and needs to back on out of there. Meters of aggression. And it looks like there's a lot of players of Native onto that A site. They might just get caught out on B, but as I say that, Whitmer, good for 1, dashes on out of there and is safe as Houston finds another across the map. And Whitmer returns, echoing Houston's kill there, quickly dropping down Chirac to 2 members.
Yeah, honestly, we've seen Whitmer make unbelievable plays thus far in the tournament, just kind of turning it this one up, but oh, look at that, Chloric able to pick up a nice little 2K, might be able to get the spike down after all. It's going to be running towards the back, does have the Sheriff in hand, but Houston is in this back line there, it goes out the knife now, just looking for that headshot.
3 gone.
No way.
Scanning ahead.
1v2. Full health. Morg is pretty low. 1 shot will kill. Looking for the ace now, and he's got the drone in hand. This could be devastating for Cutler as he gets spotted out by Wood. 2 pings on that drone after that nerf, and now backing on up to the boathouse. Checking the left side staircase. He's got the crosshair placement ready. He's leaving the right side lane exposed, and that's exactly where Cutler is going. Cutler about to drop. Drops, make a noise. Crosses on over to the left side of the boathouse, but Chloric is good for the ace in the first round, turning it on its head.
Oh, that is a huge momentum booster for Chirac Gang. Chloric says, I'll do it myself. 5 kills, wins out the round. Makes that one nice. Such good patience coming in there. When the round was looking all but lost, able to just clutch that one up. Finds a quick little 2K. Gets the Sheriff in hand and looks crispy with it. There was a chance for Cutler to be able to get that one and shut it down. But yeah, excellent play coming out from Chloric. And I think that is not going to be good because it's going to set the pace for the rest of this match. You hate to see that if you are Native Black here. But now it's going to be aggression coming through. But Morgan gets stunned up, not able to secure any of the kills here. Michael Scarn comes up with 1.
Beautifully done. Waiting now. Oh, not gonna connect there. Diamond, good. Finds it on Chirac. And like you mentioned, man, that momentum has just been flipped. It looked for a moment that Native Black were like back into this match, you know, finding 3 quick ones to start something going on their side. But Whitmer now just trying to claw back any shred of that momentum that they had just a moment ago. They want that feeling they're going to be chasing that dragon for the rest of the match now.
Oh, good reference there. But yeah, it looks like Chirac are just going to have a nice and easy B site to just walk into. They don't know that nobody's there, but they're just going to wait for the rest of the team to group up here because if they've only got pistols, it's going to be nice and easy for them to move in. Very good play coming in here, not even giving up anything, just making sure that this is a very textbook engagement. And yeah, that's going to be the spike down. Native Black 2v5 onto this spike retake, but thus far it doesn't look pretty good.
Let's see. Got scouted out. Cutler, just kind of waiting, man. Kind of a tough spot. If they can find 1 or 2, that'd be great. But at the end of the day, Chirac, just looking so confident, grouped up as 5 and holding CT. If anybody peeks that, it's just going to be a bad day for them for sure. A headache, to say the least. Marshall on the back line. Whitmer All he wants is one. Oh, almost gets it. Misses the leg.
Last player.
You can't find it there either. Diamond and Chlor. You're good for 2, and it's another flawless round here.
God, that's so good for Chirac Gaming there, because once again, we also saw Chloric buying the Vandal up on that last round, just because, you know what? You're feeling it. You're feeling pretty good. You just got an ace. Life is going to be good. And as a result, not losing a single member, this bonus is just going to be a lot easier. Especially too with that frag potential coming in from Chloric. I think that this is going to be Chirac potentially taking this bonus round. They're looking incredibly clean with it, and you could just tell Native Black, they were feeling themselves as the first round started out, but the momentum easily shifted around. And this is something that doesn't get talked about a lot when it comes to Valorant, but having the confidence in yourself to be able to land shots, make these plays, is really important. As soon as you start doubting yourself a little bit more, you look a little bit shakier. You're not sure whether or not you should do things. Meanwhile, the other team is just having a fun time fragging out. And I think that this might be the headspace where Native Black is getting into, because once again, they lost that last map. Things were looking good for them. And then Chloric goes, haha, JK, I'm going to pull the carpet out from under you guys. And suddenly it's not looking too good anymore, especially too after that second round where they just get a flawless victory. You know, Native Black got to come up with something a little bit different on this defense. Otherwise, it's just going to once again be the Chirac gang show. And they're just going to take the reins and run away with it. And just speed run their way into the quarterfinals of this playoff bracket.
Scary, really, especially considering how good we know, factually, statistically, mathematically. We know these players are fantastic on Native Black.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them. Chirac, running so quick through. Michael Scar doesn't care, but Whitmer is good on the flick, good for 2, and that's exactly what you want to see as Morg into the smoke, aggressive. Gets taken out by Houston's nade.
Oh, that just gave Chirac Gaming a really good chance here. Never mind, Cutler shuts that one down. Now it's going to be 1v3, and Tonho did come up large last time, but I don't think this cross is going to work out too well for them. And yeah, okay, Native Black are just clapping back, and once again, that's that unmeasured aggression coming in from Whitmer. And I do like that Whitmer is taking a little bit more risks when it comes to that. Just get in there and frag out, but has to be a little bit more careful, and you need to pull it in just a little bit more, because you want to get the frags, but also get out properly. And you can tell just after getting a couple of kills, just sticks it. Has that left mouse button down, just waving the mouse around, trying to find something else. And at a certain point, you need to know when to call it quits, get out with your life, and that way you can support the rest of your team there. A little bit of a misplay for Morg, in my opinion, moving in there. Might have made it a little bit more winnable, but it works out in their favor. Native Black really just going right, they're just going for it right now, and I got to appreciate that, especially with Whitmer doing that.
Yeah, beautiful. And I was just about to say too, Michael Scarn, we were talking about him and his aggression all the time, this X Factor really just being a nuisance. What you need to do if you encounter one of these X Factor players on the other team, Cash good for 1 on Cutler, to making it a 4v3 for Native Black. But if you encounter one of these X Factor players, you then have to create your own X Factor. And that's exactly what we saw from Whitmer with an updraft. Great headshot from Catwalk, and is out of there.
Let's see this. Oh, the blades. Nope, can't find anything. Michael Scarn with 1, but gets traded out. Now it's all up to Diamond, and Houston just goes for a cheeky little swing there. And hey, we got the cams back up. Let's go. Wonderful people. Look at that. People are actually lining up to watch this match. I'm assuming that's the match that we're seeing in front of us. And for good reason there. You know, like you said, you have to match the aggression of Michael Scarn with aggression yourself. And it's honestly working out for them. I think Houston comboed with Whitmer have been really working out, using the utility to just really just get in there and secure things for them. So a great job switching things around, putting Chirac on the back line. And so far, this could come around either way. This is looking evened out.
2-2. Michael Scarn, dash in hand, rolling thunder out onto the B side, only connects down onto that one Soba, who's going to use his Hunter's Fury, finds 1 actually, Glory good for 1, Cash and Tone return for 2 more, and just like that, Chirac in a 4v2. Whitmer lost with that op now in their spawn. This is huge or crazy, and I can't really tell you just yet as Morg is posted up in market. They're thinking about potentially playing this 2v4 retake, but just like that, Whitmer makes the call, and they are out of there. Gonna save that operator and that Phantom. That was quick, to say the least.
No, it feels like after that round, Chirac Gaming are actually a really big fan of F1 and got into their respective Ferraris and just decided to drive over the defense that was Native Black. They stormed their way onto the site, were able to secure all of the kills, every single one of their members, checking the corners, checking the angles, and able to just capitalize onto it. Michael Skarn on the entry, the rest of the people following up, and it was just such a clean execute that really Native Black had zero answer for, only losing a single member, and that honestly the Rolling Thunder got out there, so it was totally fine. A beautiful play coming in from Chirac Gaming, really solidifying their spot once again on top and taking this lead.
Yeah, that anticipation, whoever shot calling on their side once again realized, hey, they got the Rolling Thunder, let's play the quick retake, right? Have someone on staircase, anchor it with your Hunter's Fury, because if they're going to try to funnel in quickly after that Rolling Thunder, you're going to get some damage in. And so that's exactly what Cloric did. Hunkered down, found that one frag, and then the rest of his team collapsed on the remaining members of Native Black. So greatly done. Chirac take the lead after that tie, 3-2. It's a close game. Chirac currently up in the series 1-0 overall as Whitmer gets hit with the paranoia and is forced off of the angle.
Michael Skarn doesn't care, but Whitmer is able to trade that one back. Let's see. Aggression meeting aggression. Whitmer coming out on top.
Great stuff from Whitmer. Hunkers down once more, plays some real defense, and gets the lineup headshot as Adrenaline is holding that entryway into CT, finding the headshot into Diamond, and Cloric whiffing there as Native tie things up 3-3.
Is it just me, or does it look like these teams are ready to just enter into a boxing ring and just slug it out against each other? They're going so aggressive and just kind of clashing midway, and it's really kind of a toss-up which team comes out on top. Once again, good stuff coming out from Native Black to kind of adapt to this, but you know, it's a little bit of a risky maneuver. Just taking a look at their defense right now, they want to just play that offensive defense, but they have to only do that on one of the sites. And as a result, right now, they're gambling on the wrong site by the looks of things, which might allow Chirac a very easy time entering into it. Chirac, great adaptation to use that utility to prevent Whitmer from getting as much value, but it's not going to stop him this time around. Morgan, a great spot, though.
Good for two, keeping the eye on market. Chirac pre-fires, not going to connect. They do have the B site, and they have their KJ with the lockdown set up in B main. It's going to be activated now. Buy themselves some time as the plant goes down. Drone as well activated, trying to find out some more information. Native down to 3 members though, lockdown in play, and the call is made for the save.
No way.
Yeah. It's a desperate situation, Marks. Here we are, tied up 3-3. Chirac about to take the lead once again, and Native, you know, I'm not sure if I agree with it either, but in a 3v5, opt for the save here. Maybe their econ really is in shambles, and so they could use the money at this point, but we'll have to see post this round.
Yeah, and once again, these rounds have been so explosive. It's a very blink and you'll miss it type of moment here. They need to, right now, we need to see Native Black using their utility to stall things out a little bit better. And that's pretty much why I prefer a Killjoy over a Chamber on this map, specifically because Killjoy utility is so good at just slowing these pushes down. You can isolate Michael Skarn dashing in, and as soon as Michael Skarn is isolated, the rest of the team won't be able to follow up. It's an easy pick off, make them doubt themselves. The push is completely grinded to a halt. But right now, this is just so quick for both of these teams, just kind of doing things. And it seems like it's that initial push in determining which team is going to be winning things out. So Chirac Gaming once again take the lead. They're setting up for this B side push, but Native Black are gambling once again on that A side. Let's see how this one works out.
Skarn, not as aggressive as I'd expect out of him. He hasn't activated his dash and isn't bunny hopping around the map just yet. Morg, sensing the presence mid, opts for the smoke, needs to back on up to CT, and now he's holding this cross into market. Basically, the reason you want to do that is you want to be holding as far back as possible and trying to take as few fights as possible, especially if you're on defense. That's pretty much the last line of defense in the middle. So great stuff from Morg to reposition there. Just kind of holding, tossing out the smoke to be main, slow it down, hopefully create some presence from the attacking team, which is exactly what they did. Native still waiting though. Spike in mid. Haven't pushed out just yet. Shock darts going out, clearing out Pizza. Morg with the jump peek does give himself away in the process. However, they're on defense, so ultimately not that big of a deal. TP's back on into market. and is chilling. Native still waiting, 40 seconds left on the clock. It looks like they're trying to get an explosive push onto B and maybe make Chirac second guess themselves.
All right, here we go.
30
Keish
seconds left.
going to be moving in first. See how this goes. The execute is going to be online.
Quick through, Morg, Market, Adrenaline, waiting, and Akboat gets clapped by Diamond as Skarn works his way up through mid, gets the flank, and Cash and Skarn are good for a couple more. Now in a 4v2, Chirac's executes are on point marks.
Absolutely. It looked like we went from watching a game of Overwatch all the way into Counter-Strike. With the way that this round went, this was a very just classic textbook push in onto that C site, setting up your flanks ahead of time and making it such a clean execute with utility in hand, not just kind of just flying in and trying to look for kills left and right. So things really worked out here. We're going to be seeing Native Black get a couple of exits on the way out, but I don't think that this is going to be possible for that spike to defuse. As soon as I say that though, Diamond last person alive, 1v2.
Yeah, no time on the clock, so needs to just get on out of there. Native finding a lot of frags, it'll be good, but ultimately doesn't mean too much as Chirac are chilling on money. They're pretty rich. They're laughing themselves back to the bank after that round, so they'll be hanging out. 5-3, Chirac still in the lead.
That works.
Now going into this next round, Native have quite a few ultimates that could be pretty impactful. Namely, we've talked about Cutler being extremely good with an operator. And so that 2 out of 4s could make quite a big difference there. I really like the null command coming out to try and slow down the pace here, but yeah, unfortunately, they couldn't just make it onto it. And it really does seem like wherever Cutler and Whitmer are, that is where they're able to actually capitalize off of the kills. The Bladestorm is going to be active, same with the Rolling Thunder.
Wow, Rolling Thunder doesn't connect on a Whitmer who tries to go aggressive and gives Skarn a taste of his own medicine. But Adrenaline on the backup all the way from the A site connects on a 2. And Native are looking good on this defense as the plant goes down on the A site. There's 2 members of Chirac available on the site. And of course, the third is posted up in A main. In a 5v3 retake, though, Native should have this in the bag. Chloric, lots of util on his side, though.
Cutler does have that. The Swarm Grenade's doing an excellent job of just kind of stalling it out. Looks like the name of the game is going to be stall coming in here. Cash good for 1.
Good for a second. Tone finds 1. Adrenaline now in a 3v2. Cash,
no way.
Eyeing things up. 2v2 here. 1v1. Cutler, low health here. And the shot guard's going to do it as he's not able to connect on the shot onto Sova. 23 HP. Chirac take double down on their lead at 6-3.
Oh my goodness me. Hey, that was a really interesting stall strat that we saw come out there. I really like Cash tossing up the swarm grenades there, just completely discombobulated the site retake coming in from Native Black there. You saw the people pushed in from tree expecting the heaven support to come at the exact same time, but because they were stalled out by that swarm grenade, they were just a little bit discombobulated, and as a result, it made the fights a lot cleaner for Chirac to just come out on top of. Of course, boiling it down to a 1v1 is a tough order, especially too when you've lost a couple members on the entry. So great job just kind of splitting up the team. And as a result, this is looking like an easy round for Chirac once again. A couple of Buckies and Sheriffs in hand. I don't know how much Native Black can do.
Yeah. Oh, good couple of shots, not finding anything else. He needs to activate this dash and get on out of there. I swear to God, I think he forgot to activate the dash mode because he looked away, pressed E, but didn't realize he wasn't in the proper form to make that happen. So unlucky for Whitmer there, maybe giving us a glimpse as to what's happening on the inside of Native on their team there, because like you mentioned, that stall tactic from Chirac working out so well, and you could even see the conflict in the person who had the operator on Native side. Do I shoot the molly? Do I shoot the drone? Or do I just keep watching this double box? And so that conflict ultimately made them pay. Now Chirac grouped up his 5 outside of Adrenaline. The great equalizer with the Bucky. Good for 1 as Houston finds a second through the wall.
This is honestly not looking like a bad round for Native Black at all. Chirac are going to have to back off completely. They have rotated around, so there's not too much time on the clock to be able to get the spike down, but they should be able to do it. And I'm going to be looking at Cash using those swarm grenades, alarm bots. That's going to be what's really important here, especially too with Cutler coming in with a tour de force. That's extremely scary. We saw a couple of Marshall planks just come in, but there's just not enough time. So Orc is going to go for the plant and just hope that the back is clear. And of course it is. So it's going to be a 4v3 retake on what was a save round for Native Black.
Cutler trying to scope out that Sova on site. Not going to find anything. Chloric suppressed. Flashed Diamond in a potentially great spot, gets sprayed through, but doesn't complete it, leaving Diamond at 6 HP, and he strikes back. Adrenaline going down from the back, and Cash finds another as Cutler returns in a 2v1. Spike, the defuse, underway now. Diamond on the swing, not good enough as Houston bops him, and Native finally back at 4-6. There's a potential to tie things up here.
Yeah, there is a potential. There's 2 more rounds left in this half. Not as much of a steamroll as we saw in the last map. Shrek still looking pretty dominant, but this is Native Black. They're starting to find their footing a little bit more, and this is going to be a tough round for Shrek because they're not going to be able to buy up completely. But Michael Scarn does have the Blade Storm active. This has been a complete change of pace from what we started off this game as. Before, it was literally just kind of just throwing the spaghetti at the wall and seeing what was going to stick, but now it's so much more methodical, so much more thought out, playing around the utility and not just hoping for the best. And Adrenaline is already spraying things down as Whitmer takes a very forward position and gets rewarded with it.
Scarn on the offense, finds 2 quick ones with the headshots. Adrenaline connects through the cardboard walls once more, but he's not able to find anything. Scarn, close the distance. Right click, not gonna connect. Looking like me right now. That is unlucky as Adrenaline with a jumping right click. The classic, living up to its name. Ooh, shock dart with a lot of damage, dropping him down to 7 HP as Houston goes down to Chloric now in a 1v2. He was able to 1v5 before for Chirac. Can he take them to 7, or will Native find number 5 here? Coming around the left lane now. Adrenaline down to 1 HP. Chloric not spotted out on the site yet. Great stuff from him. Good movement. Reminding me of Lakia for just a moment there. Avoiding the recon. Morg wrapping around the right. Chloric spike in hand. 35 seconds left to still play with. Taking his time. Taps the spike now. Blind comes out. He's just going to wait. TP from Morg. Does Morg spot out Chloric? Coming around the left side. Drone gonna go out. This could be huge for Morg. Great timing on it, and he pushes and finds the round. Native at 5-6.
Man, that's so smart. And this is why you love to see an Omen get brought in and kind of pop off like that. We saw Morg just toss out the paranoia, was able to catch it, and then as a result, that teleport went completely unchecked. And at that point, you know, you're sitting there, you're Chloric, you're listening for the drop. You don't hear anything. So you go for the owl drone, because if someone's up there, they're going to have to drop down, and you can cancel the owl drone and swing out and find that kill. But little did he know that Borg was already on the site thanks to that little shadow step, and the rest was history. A great play coming in from Morg in order to clutch out that round. A much needed one, as it's going to force Chloric onto a save, as it looks like Native Black might be able to tie this up in the half.
Cash opting for a mid lockdown, which is really interesting. Clears out this entire tree area. However, you can still get held from heaven. There's that window position, and of course, where Houston's hiding, right outside this switch.
Ooh.
Gets the pop flash, finds 1, could have found 3, but Scarn on the push. Wide swings Cutler, equalizes things 3-3, but Chirac is low on HP, making their way onto the A site. They've taken some damage. Morg could make something happen here, and he does with some help from his friends in a 3v2. Native, spike's not planted just yet. Now double pushing through tree, gets the blind right onto the spike plant, forcing both of Chirac's members down into hell as Adrenaline finds 1, Scarn finds the other. The smoke is out and his position concealed. Scarn good for 2. Now in a 1v1. Don't let this happen. Morg, beautifully done. Ties it up 6-6.
Oh man, my heart is racing, and this is just the first rounds of the day. Man, this is down to the wire. Honestly, excellent play from Native Black to be able to read things towards the end of that defense there. They were looking a little bit lost as that round at that half started, but they were able to find their footing and honestly able to shut down a lot of the plays that Chirac were trying to pull off. So great job coming in there. We're going to be throwing to a quick break before we go into our second half.
Spacey ship.
Fighting!